Good afternoon, everyone. 4 o'clock straight up on a Monday edition of On Cue. As always, I'm your host, Rich Quinones. 2 hours to play with on this Manolo Mentiroso Lunes Man Up Monday edition of On Cue on this 6th of October, 2025. Hope everyone had a wonderful sports weekend, and I hope you guys keep us tuned in. As always, you can get social with me. Very, very easy to do. You get me on various platforms, on X, Facebook, IG, on Buzzsprout, Amazon. You've got me on the YouTube channel. You guys have been phenomenal with the subs and the comments and the engagement. But as always, as I mentioned, get social with me at Rich Q on Q on X and IG, and of course, Rich Q on the mic on TikTok. So I will say this. You know, for some, it was a glorious weekend. For others, not so much. Now, not a good weekend if you're a New York sports fan, i.e. myself, with the Giants, getting waxed, the Jets getting absolutely crushed, which we told you about on Friday. And then, of course, the Yankees having whole boatloads of issues against the Toronto Blue Jays. But how about this? How about for the cocky, the arrogant, the absolutely, let me just stick my chest out, Philadelphia Eagles fans, Philadelphia Phillies fans. How was your weekend, Philadelphia? How was your weekend? Spit in the bit in a game one against the Dodgers where I told you you needed that game where you knock around Ohtani and you can't preserve the lead. And now backs against the wall tonight for the Philadelphia Phillies in their best of 5 series against the Dodgers in the NLDS after just spit in the bit. That's exactly what that was. Spit in the bit the other night, losing 5-3. And then to make matters worse, you have the Philadelphia Eagles, who all I hear about every single time we come on the air, we do the show nonstop, whether it's Tom in Summers Point, whether it's Joe D in South Philly, whether it's KC in Wildwood, whether it's Mark in Deptford, whether it's the friggin' unbelievably, fundamentally not sound bunker boys who just constantly like to heckle and troll. And here we go. The Philadelphia Eagles yesterday at home, mind you, up against the Denver Broncos, a team I flat out told you on Friday. Here we go. I flat out told you on Friday that the Eagles were on upset alert. And we liked the Denver Broncos in that spot. We loved the Denver Broncos in that spot. And in a game where, if you really look at this game, ultimately, I keep getting criticized for mentioning the Philadelphia Eagles offense and how they've got issues. And all jokes aside, the Philadelphia Eagles at home, up 17-3 heading into the fourth quarter. You're the defending Super Bowl champs. You have absolutely no business losing that game. You have absolutely, again, no business losing that game. And I told you, Denver was a live dog. I'm a Bo Nix guy, but I was more concerned with the Philadelphia Eagles and their offense and the fact that it never gets in gear. You want to talk about the refs. You want to talk about some of the play calling. You want to talk about some of the bad officiating, whatever. Because ultimately, it's a wash at the end of the day. You want to talk about boneheaded plays. You want to talk about the fact that, explain to me how you have a running back in Saquon Barkley who rushed for over 2,000 yards last season. And Saquon Barkley gets 6 friggin' carries. Now, where I was wrong is I said they were going to force feed A.J. Brown, 8-9 balls for $130 and a touchdown. He had 5 receptions for 43 yards. I'll get to him in a moment. Devontae Smith was the big-time threat yesterday. But at 17-3, the Denver Broncos have no business winning that game, and the friggin' Philadelphia Eagles have no business losing that game. And I'm telling you, You start to look at these teams right now that we always want to pencil in unstoppable, dominant. They are leaking oil. They have issues. Now, are they going to get right against a bad Giants team on Thursday night? Probably. Probably. But offensively, their passing game, players are not on the same page. You got Smith saying it. You got Jalen Hurts doesn't have any answers. We talked about Kevin Patullo, who was handpicked by Nick Sirianni. Handpicked. Handpicked by Nick Sirianni. But nobody wants to talk about that. No one wants to talk about how this offense is consistently slow out of the gate. No one wants to talk about how you have a 2,000-yard rusher and he touches the ball 7 times. Nobody wants to talk about, again, A.J. Brown. I don't even know if this cat's giving it 100%. You can talk about that ball being overthrown by Jalen Hurts, but did A.J. Brown really go all out? This team's got some issues right now. And Denver's a good team and they're a good defense. Yes. Yes. And you had some boneheaded plays, the Bond play, Zach Braun, the personal foul, trying to get him off the field on 3rd down. That's just undisciplined football. We see that every single solitary Sunday in the NFL. We saw it in the Giants game. We saw it in the Cardinals game. We saw it in the Texans game. We saw it late in the Seattle game. We saw it in the Washington game. We see it all the time. Boneheaded plays in football. Players with their heads up their culo. It happens. It happens all the time. But offensively, you're going to tell me that this team doesn't have issues? You're going to tell me right now that 4 or 5 weeks into the NFL season and you look around the landscape in the NFC? I mean, what's their identity, the Philadelphia Eagles? Now, I can say that for a lot of teams. But I'm bringing it up because the Eagles fan had this notion, this preconceived notion. Some of them actually thought they were going to go undefeated. We're going to win 13, 14, 15, 16 games. Hell, we might go undefeated. No one's going to beat us. No way we're going to allow Denver to come on the road and you're up 17-3. And I'll say this about Sean Payton. I will say this about Sean Payton. Sean Payton, if you're a Broncos fan, probably drives you crazy because some of the play calling. But for Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos to go for 2 in that spot yesterday on the road where the extra point ties it up, turns out to be absolutely genius. You go to the 4th quarter, Denver goes 10 plays, 64 yards. And Bo Nix was slinging it, man. He was getting hot like a gunslinger. Getting hot. But you also have, the benefit, that 4th down call, the incomplete pass, but then you get Mitchell for defensive holding. You get the fresh set of downs. You get the 2-yard run. And now all of a sudden they're right back in at 17-10. They're trailing by 7, and they force a quick 3-and-out by the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles, think about this. Their next possession, kickoff, 10-yard penalty, 7-yard pass, incompletion, sack. They didn't even try to run the football. They didn't even attempt to try to run the football with Saquon Barkley at all. And they give the ball right back to the Denver Broncos. Give it right back. And what do? They promptly go 72 yards in 6 plays. Bo Nix, listen, he was making throw after throw. I mean, a 34-yarder to Sutton, the 11-yard zip to Ingram. My guy, I told you, X factor for the Broncos this season, Evan Ingram. Then the fact that now you're looking at, 17-70. No. What does Sean Payton do? We're going for 2. Just in case we get the ball back and kick a field goal, they need 7 to score. They need 7 to win. And they force another 3-and-out. That is offensively a horrible, horrible 4th quarter for the Philadelphia Eagles. A horrible series late for the Philadelphia Eagles. And I get it. It's October. You're 4-1. You're defending Super Bowl champs. You're going to have moments like this. But I always talk about trends. I always talk about if you see teams trending for the wrong reasons, right? The wrong reasons. And, again, I think there's a disconnect with Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown. Did he stop running? Did Jalen Hurts overthrow him? I mean, both can be true. But listen, that's a problem. That's a problem. I mean, there were a couple times, you listen, that's a deep shot, critical point of a game that, again, you got to connect. if you're Jalen Hurts. You have to. And if you're the route runner, you got to go 110. And I don't know where this team is at offensively, but they've got some issues. They've got some issues. And look, they're not the only team. They're not the only team. Look what happened yesterday to Buffalo last night. I mean, Buffalo Bills, I think they took the Patriots for granted. I don't know, are the Patriots legit? I think Denver's going to be a player in the AFC. I told you this. One of the reasons I haven't going to Super Bowl. I like them winning the AFC West. But now you look around the NFC, Tampa, Seattle, Detroit, Washington with a big win on their own. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the Philadelphia Eagles, I'm not even going to be outlandish and say they're done. They're 4-1. They're defending friggin' Super Bowl champs. They're going to be a playoff team, but they got issues right now. And what happens is, as the weeks progress, now you're thinking, are they good enough to turn off the light come November, December? Like, in what world do you not give Saquon Barkley the football? It makes no sense. It's maddening. Brutal weekend for the Philadelphia sports fan. Up 3-0 against Ohtani? And you spit the bit? And then at home against Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos up 17-3. How many Eagles fans were probably texting their other little Eagle brother and saying game, or it's over, or get out, Denver, only to have it come back and bite them in the ass? 17 past 4 o'clock hour. Let's open it up on a Lunes Manolo Mentiroso Man Up Monday, where we man up. Now, I will also say this. We had a very good weekend with some plays. I will man up first and foremost because that's what I do, and then we'll get to the comments. I will man up on the Giants, who were up friggin' 14-3, which I will get into in a moment. No way you'll lose that game to the Saints. Thought the Giants were going to win that game outright. That is a man up. That is a bad play by me. That is a bad job by me. I will man up and give Cam Ward a little bit of love, a flower or two. That's a nice win by the Titans. And you want to talk about one of the worst losses of the weekend. I mean, can we talk about Arizona? What the hell's going on with the Cardinals? They're making me look like fools. I will man up and officially proclaim the Baltimore Ravens are friggin' cooked. They are absolutely cooked. I'm not going to man up on slinging Sammy Darnold because he had 9 friggin' incompletions between him and Baker and the one hit the friggin' helmet. Other than that, he's played outstanding. I also told you Dallas is going to trounce the New York Jets, which they did. We gave you the over in Tampa Bay and Seattle, which hit. We gave you Denver outright money line upset special, which hit. So I will man up where I have to. I will man up where I have to. Now, the question is on this Monday, are we going to hear? I'm sure we'll hear from the Corp. I'm sure we're going to hear from Bronco Ball. I'm sure we're going to hear from Bronco Nation. Are we going to hear from the Bunker Boys? That's the question. Man says the bunker is slammed shut. Like the Broncos and Titans call, huh, Q? I will man up with the Giants. I was wrong there. Listen, hold on. Now, I'm going to man up with you. I'm going to man up with you. I don't think I had. Did I have the Titans? Did I say the Titans are covering, or was that you, Howie? If that was you, that's a great pick, Scotty boy. I don't think I did. I think Lloyd and I both had the Cardinals. So correct me. It's okay. Scott Q is wrong all the time, but we can hear his hand patting the back of his shoulder blade for the rare correct pick. Huh. I believe Q is with us on the Broncos outright. Super Bowl prediction, Denver against Washington. Where'd you hear it? You heard it right here. But we brush aside the others. That's not true. No, we don't. Eagles up 17-3, getting the ball back with a clipping opportunity. Yes. Yep. That's a problem. And you don't even utilize, but see, you don't even utilize Saquon Barkley. Run some clock. Pick up a couple first downs. That's horrible. That's a choke job. Like, seriously. And I don't, Joe D and Sarge and Tom and Summers Point, get the shit out of here with the referees. I'm not even going to waste my time reading off your comments today. I'm just not. Okay. I don't want to, I do not want to hear it today with the friggin' flags and the penalties because, again, every single Sunday we can talk about it. Every time. Every single Sunday. Yes, it happens sometimes. You don't get the call. Sometimes you get the benefit of the call. That's fine. But also, no one says for an all pro linebacker to have a BS, extracurricular activity on a hit or the hands, the hands he calls or the illegal shift calls, right? I mean, come on. I don't want to hear that. You hate the ineligible man down the field, but it's the right call. I don't care. You want to say it's ticky tack? That's fine. Deal with it. Zach Bond, that's a third down stop at the most critical time of the game. 3rd and 2. Denver's on their own 30-yard lines. They're up by 1. The Eagles get the ball back. Chances are they're going to go right down the field and maybe a long field goal, punch it in and win. And what happens? Boneheaded play. Boneheaded play. And again, the pass interference, they missed out on Dallas Goedert. Fine. Dallas Goedert didn't get the benefit of the call. It's the NFL. It happens, man. It happens all the time. You're up 17-3. 17-3 at home. The defending Super Bowl champs. You put that game away. You put that game away. There's no other explanation. You're not getting a free pass on that. And I don't want to hear this nonsense. Oh, it's only October. They'll be fine. Okay, fine. Fine. Go hide somewhere else. Go ahead. Go hide somewhere else. I don't want to hear that nonsense today. I don't. It's so easy to sit there and talk about the refs when you decide you have an all-world, all-pro, Pro Bowl, all-caliber, potential Hall of Fame running back touching the ball 6 times. Come on. Well, man up about Knicks. He can throw the fastball. Out slams, deep ball, no outs. It's the deep ball. He just keeps missing on. Maybe I was too harsh. And he's my fantasy quarterback. Nuts of brass for Peyton. Yes, onions. Beyond onions to go for 2 in that situation. Beyond. I would like to think ebb and flow was the reason for this weekend, except in the case of the Bills-Patriots game. That shocked me. Patriots have made it a case to be a problem for the AFC. Thought they were going to be a little better this year, but I didn't see that last night. I literally didn't see it last night. I was counting sheep, to be quite honest with you. Drake May might have grown up in front of the country's eyes last night. I was exhausted. I don't know what you guys want to hear from me. He's a good quarterback, though. Who doesn't like the Drake? Who doesn't like the Drake? If Denver puts it all together, then they could be a serious contender. They can. That is a gut check win by the Denver Broncos. You go on the road, you're making that trek across country, you go on the road in a hostile environment against the defending Super Bowl champs, and you're down 73 in the 4th quarter. But what do? You hang around. And shame on the Eagles. You let teams like that hang around, they're going to bite you in the ass. Period. Needs to man up about Shanahan. He's winning with a bunch of nobodies except for the Jacksonville game. Laugh out loud. Hey, listen. I'm not going to man up just yet because I told you that they were going to win 10 games. You as a 49ers fan, I'm starting to question, maybe you're going the Vince route, right? That was a huge road win. I'm not even reading that one because you know how I feel about the mothership. That's just nonsense taking a shot at me like that. If the Commanders get running like that from Merritt every week, they will make life rough for the NFC. I still like the Commanders. I really do. I really do. Now you have Jaden Daniels. That's a big win by the Commanders. Now you want to sit there and tell me that something's going on with the Chargers? That's fine. We can have that conversation. But again, you're going on the road, and Daniels just extremely efficient. I mean, you put up 27 points. You put up 27 points, and they ran for 163 yards. They averaged 5.8 yards a carry, and they kept the quarterback upright. Listen, Washington's 3-2. They've got Chicago, Dallas, the Chiefs coming up. They can win 2 or 3. They can win all 3 of them. You're looking at 5-3 after 8, and the fact that you don't have Daniels for a couple games, I think you're going to take that. They're going to win their 10, 11 games, and they will be a playoff team, period. They will be a playoff team. Call out those Eagles fans. Sometimes it's not even worth it. They're horrible. Seriously, they're absolutely horrible. They're horrible. They run their friggin' mouth every time they friggin' win. It can be friggin' preseason. They run their mouth in September, October, November, December. Yeah, they're allowed to because they friggin' win. But you ever notice as soon as they lose or they get clipped or they have a bad loss, they friggin' hide like a little sensitive friggin' Susie. Utterly ridiculous. Either shit's on airplane mode, gavels are being crashed in the court of law, Johnson rods are being thrown all over the place. There's no reception in the friggin' mountain. I don't know what's going on. But something's got to be done about this nonsense. Phone doesn't work all of a sudden. They can't text in, they can't comment. They're off, playing friggin' Scrabble or Wordle, whatever the hell that is. It's friggin' nonsense. Take your L, and you got some issues right now. You got some issues right now. That wide receiver and the quarterback are not on the same page. They're not. They are not on the same page. I don't care what anyone says. Last pick by Darnold cannot happen. Come on, I hit the guy's helmet. Do you know at that time, him and Baker Mayfield had 9 incompletions combined? Unbelievable. No shot Q had the Titans. I don't think I did. I'm not. Listen, now, others might take credit where credit is due. I actually text Lloyd just to make sure because Lloyd had to keep me in check. I said, who did we pick Cardinals-Titans game? He wrote, Cardinals, they are pitiful. Effing unbelievable. How dumb can they be? No, I didn't have the Titans. I'm not gonna be that guy. I'm not. I don't hate Ward. I don't. Oh, that's a good pick by you, Scotty boy. You said the Titans would win. I believe you did say that. You did call that. I did remember. I don't hate Ward. I just don't think the kid's very good right now. I think it's a bad spot for him, but I'm happy that they won a game, and I'm happy he got a win. I'm not wishing ill will. I have no hate in my heart, even with the Eagles fans. It's not even hate. It's just borderline disgust. That's a nice win by the Titans, but that's a horrible loss by the Cardinals. Those games cost head coaches their job, and how boneheaded, the odds of the Titans coming back and winning that game were astronomical. You're going against a team that's winless with a rookie quarterback. They've dropped 10 games in a row. They're down big in this game. They have no business coming back in that game at all. And you get these crazy blunders, right? It's 21-13 with under 4 to go in that 3rd and 3. All right, here's a pick, an interception. Whoop! Now it's fumbled. Whoop, whoop. Now it's kicked in the end zone. Whoop! Now the Titans fall on it. I mean, how many times in your life have you ever seen a play like that where the ball's tipped, caught, fumbled, kicked around, fumbled again in the end zone touchdown? That's absurd. That's absurd. Like that happens to the Jets and the Giants and maybe the Arizona Cardinals. And then obviously, prior to all that, you have the boneheaded play once again with these wide receivers and these running backs dropping the football. It's unbelievable. You're about to seal the game with a 72-yard touchdown run. You're about knockout blow. And the back fumbles the ball. I don't get it. You're looking at 28-6. And that team's not coming back. It's ruled a fumble out of bounds, the end zone for the touchback, which I hate that rule. And then Tennessee goes, and this is where I'm going to give them credit. They go 80 yards. They haven't scored in 8 friggin' quarters. Cam Ward played well. I will man up. Cam Ward played well yesterday. 265 yards. That's a good win for them. Good win. I don't know how good this kid's going to be. I mean, I just, again, Jeff chimes in. Patillo needs to go. He was handpicked. Period. That was Sirianni's guy. Nick Sirianni handpicked Kevin Patillo. Didn't interview anyone else. Said, that's my guy. We're going to run with him. Now, is it the play calling? Is it the scheme? Is the quarterback not able to get the ball out quickly? By the way, for as good as Jalen Hurts is, sometimes he takes horrible sacks. Horrible sacks. I went back and I watched that play several times where he overthrew A.J. Brown. Did A.J. Brown let up a little bit? Did he stop running? Yeah. Did Jalen Hurts overthrow him? Sure. Both things can be true. But it just shows you the disconnect. It really does. It really does. That is a deep shot that was missed, and it looks worse when you watch it on film. Because a play like that, all you want is your offensive line to hold up. You want max protection to hold up, and that's a 60-yard dagger if they connect. That game's over. That game's over. And you can't connect. You can't connect. Joe D chimes in Q. It's not a cop out, but I thought it was a poorly thrown ball. Yeah, but it's not even that, Joe. It's not even being a cop out. It just shows the disconnect. Right? Tom and Summers point, Q, I can't believe I'm actually going to agree with you. That's absurd that Saquon only got 6 touches. That's bad. That's really bad, guys. I mean, you have a all-pro, all-world running back that any given moment can break it, and you don't give him the football, and you don't even let him touch the football in the fourth quarter. It makes no sense. That was almost like watching the old 20 years ago Andy Reid. The run-pass balance. Makes no sense. Look at these last drives. You're a defending Super Bowl champ at home. At home. And you're up 17-3. Fourth quarter, punt, end the game. Let's go back. Third quarter, you got the touchdown. Okay, give them credit. Punt. You get maybe 12, 13, 14 possessions in a football game. In the second half, they scored 1 touchdown. They punted 1, 2, 3, 4, and they turned the ball over in downs. They had 5 drives that went. There's something wrong with this offense. There's something wrong with this offense. They're up 17-3. 17-3. 8-yard pass, 11-yard pass, 4-yard run, incomplete punt. 2nd and 6, 3rd and 6, they don't run the football. Okay. Denver punts. Eagles get the ball back. 3 plays. Penalty, incompletion, sack. Which was a horrible sack, by the way. Horrible sack by Jalen Hurts. Punt. They don't even try to football. Fourth quarter. Denver scores 17-10. Eagles. 10-yard penalty, 7-yard pass, incompletion, sack, punt. They don't run the football. Denver scores. They lead. Eagles get the ball back. Kickoff, 9-yard pass, 5-yard penalty, 0 yards on a run. Barkley, which again, at that point, they're stacking the box. Everyone knew it. 2-yard pass, 4-yard penalty, punt. I mean, that's horrible. That's horrible. You're going to tell me there's nothing wrong with this friggin' offense? Stop. Just stop. I did say he deserves to be on the hot seat. He actually, if they win 10 games, he might turn, and you don't need to capitalize you. We get it. Thank you. He might turn around and be coach of the year. Or it could be Indianapolis, right? Yeah. Forgotten phone bars. Yeah. Not airplane mode. No. I was half asleep when I text Lloyd. I'm calling games 1, 2, 3 in the morning. Seriously, that's utterly ridiculous. I had to know. Dolphins' loss was really bad. Who had the worst loss of the weekend? Seattle, Miami, the Eagles, the Cardinals. How about the Giants? The Giants are up 14-3. Jackson Dart is friggin' slinging it all over the place. You talk about bad football. It can't get any worse. Besides the Jets. But the Giants are on the road. And I'm telling you right now, if Malik Neighbors is playing that game, they blow out the Saints. Darius Slayton stinks. You're up 14-3. And let me caution myself as I say this. This is what happens when you play rookies. Like we've all been there as fans. We call these growing pains, right? Immature plays, boneheaded plays, rookie mistakes. Giants are up 14-3. And they're playing good football. Went back, watched the game this morning, up 14-3. Saints get a field goal that's 14-6. Okay. You got an opportunity to do some damage, right? The Giants have to punt. Fine, not a problem. Now it's 14-13. Saints score again, still no panic, but the Giants punt. Saints get a missed field goal. Now you're thinking to yourself, you're getting ready to go into the locker room with the lead. You get good field position, really good field position. You're moving the ball, you're moving the ball, you're moving the ball. You bring it all the way down to the 44. You got first and 10, you got a buck 13 to go, and Slayton turns around, catches it, and you get the fumble. Saints come right down, they score, make it 16-14. Okay, not a problem. You don't need to panic because they're moving the football. The defense is keeping them in the game. Coming right out of the break, you defer so you can get the second half kickoff. What do? Moving the ball, moving the ball, moving the ball, moving the ball, all the way down on the 43. And then here we go, right? Jackson Dart. I don't know what the hell the kid was thinking. Rookie mistake, little loose change, fumble, Saints get it. Now they're up 19-14. And this is where the game really turned. 12 plays, 55 yards. You love Scatterboo. You love that he's running hard. You got to hold on to the football. Fumble, return for a touchdown, and then, of course, Dart throws 2 picks over the next couple possessions. The Giants had 5 straight possessions in an NFL game where, let's go back, where you get 12-13 a game, if you're lucky. They had 5 straight possessions where they turned the football over. You're going to win a football game like that? And, oh, by the way, the last team to do that was the Jets. Years ago, I think 9 years ago against Kansas City. They turned the ball over 8 times. That's bad football. That's like really bad football. And you should have beaten that team. Like, you have to hold players accountable. You're seeing what's going on in Arizona. I'm not going to say they cut that kid. You've already seen Aaron Glenn cut some players. The Jets are another joke. They're a debacle. But it's just wearing thin what's going on in New York. I mean, their season's over. You don't think right now that the Eagles are just pissed off on a Thursday night short week, get a day in practice, go up the Turnpike? They're looking to blow the doors off the Giants after what happened on Sunday. You guys say it's a get-right game, whatever. Tailor-made, here we go. Then they got Denver and the Eagles again. They're going to be staring down the barrel of a 1-7 start. I got a lot of Giants comments coming in. I want to get to those in a moment, but I want to keep reading off you guys. I already said it. I manned up. It's a bad stat line. I think I said 794 force feet a touch. What do you get? 4 or 5 for 43? That's fine. He 12 manners, we like to say. Heisman chimes in. Oh my God, with these, what's the excuse? How is working? I mean, seriously, just utterly ridiculous. Just utterly ridiculous. This guy right here, lack of sleep, lack of time, lack of energy, and he's still putting on shows daily, doing the back your play, doing the friggin' Caribbean, they put it as talk show, doing the friggin' Tropical Bets of Water, calling games left and right, calling the fights, and here I am for you guys. Why? Because I knew the Corp needed me on a Monday. I knew the anti-Eagle fan needed me on this Monday, on this Lunes Manolo Man Up Mentioso Logo de Radio Monday edition of On Cue. The kid owed C $20, first of all. He owed him $20. And for $20, what did Sonny tell him? He's out of your life for $20. Remember? I'll get it to you Monday. Forget about it, Louie. Have you heard from the bunker? No one. And nor would I, right? That's what I'm saying. Nor would I. When the Q start handicapping. I've been on fire with Premier Soccer, by the way. No, I'm not looking for any action I can get at 4 a.m. I'm calling basketball. What are you talking about? It's another show for another platform. 2-1. Friggin' gave you 2 great wins over the last 2 weeks. Brighton. Come on. What are you doing there? Worry about your squad tonight. He 12-man Heisman. Worry about your squad. Worry about Jacksonville tonight. That's all I have to say. The offense is like Kyle Schwarber. 90 hits in the season, 55 are home runs. It's feast or famine. Yes. Feast or famine. No. Giants don't win that game with Jameis. Jameis Winston's probably throwing some of those bad picks. I mean, how about Geno Smith? They're calling for Geno Smith to get benched. Tom chimes in. Nice call on Darnold. What are you talking about? Did you see his numbers, Tom? You nitwit. Did you watch the game yesterday? Or did you look at the box score? Or did you look at a highlight where it doinked off somebody's helmet? Sam Darnold played fantastic. Him and Baker Mayfield lit it up yesterday. They had 9 incompletions between them. Sam Darnold was 28 of 34 for 341 for 4 touchdowns. And then, of course, the boom right off the helmet. That happens. That's a fluky play. That's a fluky play. Sam Darnold has played really well this season. He's played really well. Daniel Jones has played really well. Baker has played really well. Geno Smith hasn't. He hasn't. G chimes in. How about my Vikings, Q? Carson Wentz. Yeah, I mean, what now all of a sudden the Vikings think they got something in Carson Wentz. So here's a thought. I'm surprised none of you guys are actually manning up to me when I said I thought Gabriel was going to go out and play well. And if he plays well, then Stefanski should name him the starter for the rest of the season. That kid went overseas. Overseas. Think about this for a minute. Cleveland. And this shows you that coaching is everything. He was 19 of 33, 2 touchdowns. He played pretty much mistake-free football. Yes, there were some throws he should have made. They ran the ball for 140 yards. They sacked Carson Wentz 3 times. And you had a rookie who didn't make mistakes under center, and you still can't win. That's coaching. That is coaching. There's no ifs, ands, or about it. You get a rookie starting quarterback, a rookie running back, your defense plays well. I mean, Cleveland has a good defense. They need to clean some things up and figure out what they're going to do under center. But I'll tell you this, it might not be next year, but in 2-3 years, Cleveland, they're going to make some noise here in the AFC. They're a young team. They got very good defensive players. We already know that. And they got some offensive weapons too. Huge. Changed the whole complexion of the game, right? Changed the whole complexion of the game. But that's the NFL. You're driving in, you get that 7-point swing. He's got to understand. That's great. You want to hit people. Wrap the football up, man. I think that was a peanut punch too, right? Totally. I actually felt had Sanders played the Browns. Had Sanders played the Browns beat Vikings. Not that Gabriel played bad. He has no mid to long range game. He throws a bad ball, period. It's an ugly ball, but he did make some nice throws, right? Right? He has some nice throws. No, a little loose changes, and I'm talking about the little fumble. The fumble Ruski that happened in that Arizona game, which was just crazy. Little loose change. I got a little loose change for you. Bunch of ball breakers already on a Monday. It doesn't work fast, but I appreciate you being here for the non Eagles. Hey, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. That's what I do. Right. That's what I do. I'm the one that told you that in the summer. WTF. Whoa. Wow. We don't need that. We don't need that today. We do not need that. Now, we do need to make sure that we don't have our coffee in the morning and look at the milk carton and we start to see like de facto on the carton. Gabriel threw for 149 yards before the final drive when he threw 220 plus passes, throw for 58. Relax, Q. We know you hate Sanders, but Gabriel isn't the answer. I don't hate anyone. I just like to get under everyone's skin because you guys like to just drink the juice with Shedeur Sanders, who's probably not even going to get a friggin' rep this season. See, it bothers you that I'm not on the Sanders bandwagon, right? I mean, I'm not even going to get to Colorado again because I know Deion's dealing with health, and I'm not a classless person. I don't do that stuff. I hope Deion deals with his health issues because everyone likes Deion Sanders, right? I know he's dealing with some stuff, but I'm allowed to go after the son because I think the son's a clown, to be quite honest with you. Miming stuff at a locker room. That's mature. Thinking he was going to get a starting job because his last name's Sanders. Come on, just stop. And by the way, why are you so focused on Cleveland, Heisman? Why are you so focused on Cleveland? Shouldn't you be focused on Pittsburgh? I forgot you're not a Pittsburgh fan. Shouldn't you be focused again with Jacksonville? I don't believe any of the half of them say, because they're all full of shit. They're all trying to tweet to be first. Listen, it might be over before it starts for this kid. How's that? Maybe he gets his shot and we get to see. But other than that, I have no friggin' desire anymore to talk about a fourth and fifth round draft pick. I just wanted to give credit where credit is due. And I think for that spot that kid was in yesterday, my point was you run for a buck 40, quarterback doesn't make mistakes, defensive you play well. It's probably an issue with the head coach. Head coach has to go. Head coach has to go, which he's not the only one. He's not the only one. Period. Period. Watch the league like I do. Like I do. You might watch the league, but you might not understand the league. There's a difference. Right? Right? You might sit there and say that's a nice car, but we popped the hood, brother. You don't know what the hell's going on under there. That's all. That's all. Right? That's all. Oh no, we had to bring it up because guys were asking me about Cleveland. Mike from Ohio is a Cleveland fan. So, but he might not be the only one. McDaniel's on the hot seat. Dable's on the hot seat. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that at this moment, Aaron Glenn might be one and done. But if the Jets do not win a football game, it's going to be a really bad look. Bringing a guy in that said he was going to change the ways of the Jets. We're not the same old Jets. I mean, if you listen Friday, I gave you that. I gave you that game. That was money in the pocket. I told you Dallas Cowboys are going to rout the New York Jets. That game wasn't even close. And it pains me even doubly to say this. Dak Prescott is actually playing like an MVP. Dak Prescott is playing lights out football, probably the best football of his career. He's got 10 touchdowns, 3 picks. They just can't stop anyone, period. Right? Let's see. Your opinion on Sanders is fine, but I do think his legs give us the edge over the Vikings. Gabriel from the eye test did okay, but you're right. Run the ball on the last drive. Coaching did hurt us. I miss your anger, trolling, and miserable self on weekends. uh, how am I on the sauce? No sauce. Fresh roasted coffee. Heisman, you make me laugh. He 12 man, aka Heisman, aka I'm no longer a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. You bet. Listen, you better not get waxed tonight on Monday Night Football. You better not get waxed tonight at home. At home, prime time. Bum, 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 bum. I want to see, you know what? Give me the guarantee. Give me the guarantee. And maybe I'll see if I can figure out a way to hook you up with a layup. Now, don't hold me to it because they don't distribute in New Jersey. I'm pretty sure they don't. But right now, 448, Mouthy McMoutherton, give me your prediction tonight for Jacksonville as we go around the league. Let me see. Kevin C. chimes in. Q, I think it's it. They got to get rid of Dayball starting right now. It's not happening. They're going to fire him at the end of the season. But here's the problem. The GM is a clown. The head coach is a clown. You're starting the quarterback. It's growing pains. You have to learn to deal with it. It happens when you start rookies. The Giants are the 3rd or 4th youngest team in the NFL. I will also piggyback it by saying this. Eventually, they will be a better team. I know you guys don't want to hear that right now. I get it. I understand. The Giants will be a better team. It's not this year. It's not going to be next year, but they're a young team. They need playmakers. They have one of the worst receiving rooms in the NFL, especially now that Neighbors goes down. All you're looking to see is if this kid can play a little bit. The quarterback. He didn't play particularly good yesterday. You know, the picks, you got to learn to throw the ball away. The sacks, you got to learn to just throw it away. You know, the fumble, hanging it like a loose loaf of bread, that comes with maturity and reps and the game slowing down. But what you're getting now is you're getting him for 10, 11, 12, 13 games. Giants, as I predicted in April, we're only going to win 3 or 4 games at best. At best. At best. But all I heard was the microphone goes, the beard goes, the Death Star mic goes. They're going to win 6. They're going to win 7. They're going to win 8. No. Yeah. No. Nope. You and I both know that. Why aren't we talking about the Yankees imploding? Ugh, horrible. It's horrible. What do you want me to say? It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing to watch this. I hope they lose so I can finally sit there and we can rationalize getting rid of Boone. I'm over it. I'm absolutely over it. I'm absolutely over it. Their offense just goes south every single solitary time come the postseason. And the other thing too, man, is this: as great and brilliant as a player that Judge is, the kid's hitting 444 in the postseason. It's like hollow, if that makes sense. It. Can you deliver in the clutch? And he just doesn't. He just doesn't. He doesn't. And I can't. And by the way, I can't sit there and like someone text me or tweeted at me, about I can't get on a guy like on Wells, Austin Wells, who really hasn't had any at bats in the postseason. You think this guy's going to come through? They have enough star player, star power where I'm not going to say the series is over because you got Carlos on the mound tomorrow, but wow, like it's embarrassing. It's really embarrassing. You lose 10-1, your offense does nothing, and then you surrender 13 runs. You've given up 23 runs in 2 games of a playoff series. Come on. That's bad. I mean, at least they beat the Boston Red Sox. Uh-oh, here we go. I guarantee a 3-point game. I won't say we win. I mean, seriously, will you grow some? Seriously? If you grow some, I'll actually start calling you Heisman. I guarantee a 3-point game. Won't say we win, but we will keep it close and prove we're a problem in the conference. That's kind of like a chicken what kind of answer, to be honest. That's like a mothership answer. Madman knows exactly where I'm going with that. That's like a network answer. Come on, give me something, will you? Give me something. Come on, seriously. Who was popping champagne? I wasn't popping champagne. Get out of here. Really, the Q. When do the Dolphins pull the plug on the coach? I feel Dolphins' loss was the worst. I think that coach is done. I think it's pretty much. I think it's already written that McDaniel is going to be done, and there is such a disconnect with the ownership group to the GM to the head coach from top to bottom. I mean, that's a bad loss. Yeah, that's a bad. And I don't want to take any away from Carolina. I don't, because that's a young team. I'm a Bryce fan, Bryce Young guy. I thought we were a little too critical of the kid. But Miami Dolphins you have no business losing that game. They're a bad football team. And you really look, Tua, 250 yards, 3 touchdowns, took a couple sacks, didn't friggin' turn the ball over. I don't know if Tua is really going to be the answer. And I'm the one that told you that Tua should pay, right? I'm the one that told you they should pay Tua. So I'm going to take the hit on that. You're full of garbage. You come on here and wouldn't bet me 4 less wins for the Giants because I told you they were going to lose. They were not going to win 3 or 4 games. They weren't. So why do I have to take your money? I don't want to do that and embarrass you on the air. I don't want to get rid of the mic, right? I don't want to do that. I told you they were going to be bad this year. How am I full of garbage? Why? Because I didn't want to take your money and embarrass you in front of the crowd, the listening audience, in front of the corp? I didn't want to do that. I told you they were going to be bad, and you want to get on me for that? You think I'm shilling? That's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. And you know what? I'm actually I'm a little upset that you come at me with that, man, because on Friday's show you were relentless. And I had people commenting in and they were actually thinking at least an hour ban because you were just way too much. But I said, no. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. Go to the Google chat. Check it out. Man's there. He's firing off a lot of comments. Yeah, here we go. Yeah. Here he goes, right? Coach speak is all I got. Come on. I want you to step up on that. Come on, Jacksonville, Duval, and their goofy ownership. T in Clearwater chimes in. Q, I'm going to agree with one of your commenters. I think it's time for McDaniel to go. As a diehard Dolphins fan for the past 43 years, I can't stomach this anymore. They're 1-4. They're 0-3 on the road, and their owner is pissed off, and that's the problem. And Steve Ross, let's be honest too, he doesn't get a pass. He doesn't get a pass. You look around. Let me ask you guys this question. Look around the NFL right now. We're 5 weeks in, including tonight, right? We're 5 weeks in the NFL season. And I know you guys are going to be like, oh, I can't believe you're actually saying this. But once again, are we seeing any team that we would label as a juggernaut? Or are we seeing a lot of really good teams that have flaws? Think about that for a moment. There are some really good teams in the NFL, but they also have flaws. The 49ers are 4-1. People think it's smoke and mirrors. I believe you keep the hot hand in Mac Jones. The Rams are 3-2. That was a tough loss. They should have won. They would have been a 4-1 team. They have flaws. The Colts are 4-1. Are the Colts, the Patriots, the Bucks, are they legit? I mean, think about this. The Colts are 4-1. Daniel Jones is playing really good football, and they can run the ball. So they're going to take a lot of pressure off Daniel Jones. He doesn't have to sit back in the pocket and sling it. And oh, by the way, scoring 40 points a night. 41 against the Titans, 40 against the Raiders. They scored what? 28, 29, 30 points against the Dolphins, 33 points against Miami. The Colts are the talk of the NFL right now. Daniel Jones is playing at an MVP level. And they've got winnable games coming up. They might be a 6-1, 7-1 squad, but are we going to take them serious? Are we going to sit there and say they're legit? Or eventually, if they get to the playoffs or late in the season, Daniel Jones is going to Daniel Jones. Sam Darnold's going to Sam Darnold. Baker's going to Baker. I feel as though there are a lot of teams in the NFL that are really good, but they're really flawed, if that makes sense, right? That's all. Hey, listen, I can only report what these guys comment in, or they message me on Facebook, on X. I mean, they, at times they want the madman to be reeled in a little bit. That's all. It's what the NFL has always wanted. No clear-cut front runner. How crazy was it to see Slingin' Sammy and Baker play the best game of the day yesterday? You had to feel like a proud. I was. Those are my guys. They had 9 incompletions. 9 incompletions between them before the ball went doink off the helmet. See, you sit there and say, I'm a hater. Why do you hate Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold so much? You don't think for 1 minute Minnesota would love to have Sam Darnold right now? Huh. You'd be kidding yourself. You'd be joking. You'd be lying to yourself if you didn't think so. No juggernaut. There are at least 10 teams with Super Bowl potential at this point. 10? Oh. 10 teams, 5 o'clock straight up, by the way, on a Monday. We're brought to you by our good friends over at Get Ready with Tea. 3 Brooks Bourbon, fresh roasted coffee. 10 teams right now, you think. Super Bowl potential. Let's see. Buffalo stubbed their toe. I can't buy into any team in the AFC North. It might be Pittsburgh by default. I mean, Cincinnati, they don't have a quarterback. Well, we will agree. Are the Baltimore Ravens cooked? Are they done? They're 1-4. Are they done? They're 1-4 right now. They've lost 3 straight. They have 0 defense. I mean, how can a team that a lot of people peg to be a Super Bowl champ, if you look at the odds, they had the shortest odds to win the Super Bowl, along with Kansas City, Philadelphia, and I believe Buffalo. Now, yeah, you lose Lamar Jackson. I get it. But defensively, they're horrible. And this opens up the door for maybe a team like Buffalo and Kansas City again. When all the smoke settles, we will be watching Kansas City versus Buffalo in the AFC Championship. We might. But again, is that by default? That's my question. That's my question. Is that by default? Are we looking at, to your point, are we going to have Buffalo and Kansas City because we don't trust anyone coming out of the AFC North? We don't think the Colts or Jacksonville are legit. And then you look at the AFC West where Kansas City resides. Okay, Chargers stubbing their toe a little bit. Denver's still a young team. Is that how we're approaching it? Or would you say wait to Halloween? Wait to Halloween. So we would be at the midway point of the season. That's where we would be. And now, what's your question coming out of the NFC? Quietly, the Detroit Lions are just pounding teams. They're just pounding teams. Now, they're going to get tested on the road next week. They got Kansas City. Then they have Tampa. The Vikings, that's a winnable game. Then they're at Washington. They're at Philadelphia. They still have to play Green Bay after the Giants. They have the Rams again. The Steelers late. Okay. So are the Detroit Lions right now, would you say after 5 weeks, they're the most dangerous complete team out of the NFC? Or do we look at the Eagles and say the Eagles just stubbed their toe? They're defending Super Bowl champs. Yeah, they've got some issues, but they're going to work itself out. Tampa Bay's 4-1. I mean, Tampa Bay is a player or two. They're a player or two away from beating Philly, but they're also a player or two away from losing against Seattle. So we'll call it kissing your sister. It's a wash. They're 4-1. I mean, what other teams are scaring you? Washington's 3-2. You got to get a healthy quarterback. Atlanta's not good. Carolina's not good. The Saints aren't good. Seattle, that's a tough loss. The Rams, tough loss. I mean, those were winnable games. San Francisco's 4-1. The one concern I have for San Francisco is that, San Francisco's 4-1, and they're getting good production from Mac Jones, but they're +8. So they're going to have to learn to keep winning games 21-17, 23-20. And is Purdy still going to be the quarterback? Is he still going to be quarterback number one? Because why would you've got a hot hand. You've got a hot hand in Mac Jones, who's playing with a boatload of confidence. The kid's saying all the right things. And he's playing at a really high level. He's not turning the football over. So if you make that switch, listen, I don't know. Well, Joe says, Q, worst loss of the weekend, Cardinals, Eagles, Rams. The Rams, that was a bad loss because of what McVay wanted to do and what McVay did late. The Cardinals' loss is horrible. That kind of loss cost coaches their jobs. That's embarrassing. That is really embarrassing. You have no business losing that game. You just don't. You don't. It's a team that doesn't know how to win versus a team that desperately does not want to win. That's all that was. That's all that was. That was the Cardinals back in the day. Not the Neil Lomaxes, but that's who the Cardinals are. Boneheaded plays, bad penalties. Explain that. You get the pick, then you give the ball right back. The kid Mitchell dropping a ball before the goal line? I mean, my goodness. That's what the kid did with the Colts, and then you had the kid yesterday with the Cardinals, the running back. Same crap, same nonsense. Like, when are these backs going to learn? Who's that? DeMarcado, right? I mean, my goodness, man. You've been in the league for 3-4 years. Cross the goal line. I would say the Cardinals' loss was bad. The Rams' loss was bad. The Eagles, I think the Eagles just, play calling. It's fourth quarter. You're up 14. You should close that game out. But the way the Cardinals could have closed that game out 36 different ways. And they just didn't get it done. The Giants was a bad loss too, up 14-3, and then having 5 straight possessions of giving the ball over. T says the Eagles losing, Q. That's a bad loss. Omar chimes in, Q. What the hell's going on with this offense? I don't know. I don't understand why you don't want to give the ball to Saquon Barkley. I mean, this team has no identity. Zero. They have no identity. I take that back. Buffalo's defense is atrocious. It could be Denver versus Kansas City. Buffalo's got some issues, but all these teams do they not? Right? Let's be honest, Q. If the Jags hang around all year, get in, they have talent to make a run if they put it together. Same as Charger, but again, no crystal ball, so no one knows. Well, to your point, no one knows. 100% correct. I go by what I do know, like what I've seen in the past, and I've been a Trevor Lawrence. I think I was too high on Trevor Lawrence coming out. And then I also made the point where you don't draft a running back. You draft a tackle to protect the kid. And they drafted ETN and then he got hurt. So I kind of saw, they had to go through nonsense. Jacksonville with Urban and then Doug and, Caldwell was on the chopping block and heads had a roll. It is not like the AFC South is a juggernaut because Houston, you take advantage of a team in Baltimore without Lamar Jackson. I did not think Houston, even without Lamar Jackson, was going to win yesterday. They routed Baltimore because Baltimore's got no defense. I think we're going to have to just call it a cancel out year for the Baltimore Ravens. I think everyone's still waiting for the other shoe to drop with Daniel Jones and the Colts. And, the Titans are a very young team. So to your point, Jacksonville, they're 3-1. Jacksonville gets a win tonight. That would probably be one of their biggest wins, probably in the last 10, 15, 20 years. Now they're at home, get a little crowd, a little juiced into it. They've got Seattle coming up. They've got the Rams. Those are tough games. They got the Raiders, the Texans. Those are wins. So even if they get a split right here and they are 1-1, 4-2, I'm going to give them a loss against the Rams. That's 4-3. They beat the Raiders and the Texans. They're 6-3. They've got the Chargers. I'll give them a win, 7-3. At the Cardinals, 8-3. At the Titans, 9-3. Colts, Jets, Broncos, Colts, Titans. They might win 10, 11 games. You're right. It might come down to that second to last game of the season against the Colts. Jacksonville's got some weapons. It's just everything always falls on the quarterback. It's Trevor Lawrence. Like, what Trevor Lawrence is going to show up? Trevor Lawrence that goes 24 of 32 for 285 and 3 touchdowns? Or Trevor Lawrence that goes 19 of 31 for $176 and a pick? I mean, it's maddening. It really is. For a quarterback as talented as Trevor Lawrence, who's been in the league, this is going to be his 5th season? He's put up some really nice numbers, but he's never duplicated the success from year number 2. I mean, that was his kind of coming out party, right? That was it. Didn't they win made the playoffs that year? Was that 2022? Didn't they have that crazy game? They beat the Chargers and then lost to Kansas City in a game they hung around. When I watching Lawrence in college, I always liked him. But where I really liked him in the pros is that game against the Chargers because he threw 4 picks in that game and he got knocked around, still hung in the pocket, and they came back and they won that game. Now, that was also horrible play calling and clock management by the Chargers because that's what the Chargers do. But that's when I kind of really said, okay, you might have a franchise quarterback here. Now I need to see it with Trevor Lawrence. Like, I really want to see it, period, right? Spitting the truth about my Jags, which isn't much. Hunter is getting more comfortable and more targets each week. We're going to be a problem in November, December if we stay healthy. Watch your madman. Watch your mouth, madman. Hey, listen. There are a lot of there's some opportunities in the AFC. Mike in Ohio chimes in. Q. Relax. Laugh out loud. I know you don't want to talk about it, but Gabriel did. To your point, though, it's got to be coaching. You got to overhaul this roster. Speaking of Cleveland, young team. They got some players. Garrett's a beast. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a great player. He's a game wrecker. He's going to be one of those great Hall of Fame players that unfortunately, never was able to kind of make that deep run, right? He was just, product of the environment, being on a bad team, right? What do we got here? Robert chimes in. Q. Do people understand how hard it is to be 4-1 with the hardest schedule in football? Everyone needs to lay off the Eagles. Go check out the ESPN Power Index. It's not even about laying off. I don't give a shit. Excuse my language about Power Index. Right? They're 4-1, and no one's sitting there saying they're a bad football team. They're flawed. They're flawed. Like, why can't you guys see that? There is a disconnect. There's something going on with this offense. Yeah, they might take it out on the Giants and put up 35, but the Giants stink. The Giants stink. Jalen Hurts, I like Jalen Hurts. I've debated again. Jalen Hurts, is a good quarterback. I think he's a very good quarterback. He's a Super Bowl MVP. I think he's a top 5, 6, 7, definitely top 10 quarterback. But Jalen Hurts still makes the same type of mistakes that a rookie would make. Like, he holds on to the ball way too long. That internal clock, for some reason, it just doesn't go off at the right time. And Jalen Hurts, you're talking about a quarterback. This is his 7th season in the NFL, 6th season in the NFL. He's played 70, 80 games, big time play, Super Bowl twice, Super Bowl MVP. The offensive line is leaking oil. That is a major problem. That's a problem. He's on pace to get sacked the most times in his career. That is a problem. And we've seen him take some hits. So again, it's not about strength of schedule. It's not about, hating on the Eagles. It's my opinion, whether you like it or not. Who cares? We all have opinion. It's not hating. I'm just telling you what I see. I'm sorry if it doesn't jive with what you see or fit your narrative or your agenda. There's something going on with this offense. Yeah, maybe they figure it out. Short week Thursday, you get one practice on Tuesday, and then you get ready for the game. And they'll probably wax the Giants because the Giants never beat them. Eagles have owned them for the last 10 years, 15 years. It's a fact. Then they got Minnesota. They get the Giants again. The next test for the Eagles is going to be on the road against Green Bay. And then they have the Lions, and they have a Dallas team that scores points. So to Scott's point, yeah, maybe we got to wait a couple more weeks to see where we're at with some of these teams. But right now, offensively, they have issues. They have no identity. You can't have an all-world running back like Saquon Barkley and he gets 6 touches. I mean, that's maddening. That's maddening. He's going from 18 to 22 to 18 to 18 to 6 touches. In a loss where you have the lead 17 to 3 in the fourth quarter, your best player on the field should be getting touches. You have to be on the field. You have to show him just to keep the defense honest. And look, the 4th down call, gutsy call, you get the penalty. It happens sometimes in the NFL. I'm not here to argue good calls, bad calls, because every team in the NFL gets screwed by calls. We see it all the time. We're looking around. Every time there's a 3rd down incompletion, what does the announcer say? No flag, right? No flag. Come on. My bad, man. I thought you were talking about my Jags, man, up Monday, and I admit I jumped the gun and got defensive about Q. Absolutely. Untrained eye. Amateur hour. Wow. Whoa. I mean, what? I just gave you credit with Trevor Lawrence. Whoa, my goodness. Correct you. The wins don't reflect the offensive problems Eagles have right now, but they have time to fix it. Wow. Oh, look at this. Oh, my goodness. Back it up. 5:14, and it looks like there might be some reception on the mountain. Wow. And again, way to bring something just absolutely just, weak ass to the table. Where the Eagles saving Saquon for Thursday night. I mean, the fact that I have to read that comment on the air, that I have to dumb it down for my listening audience because you decide an hour and 20 minutes into the show that all of a sudden the friggin' reception works in the mountain is absolutely just appalling. It's embarrassing. You're better than that de facto. Let me guess. Let me guess. Let me guess. Thunderstorms are out there. You have to put your right leg up, your right arm. You have to maneuver a little bit. You got to get the antenna. You have to make sure your fresh roasted coffee tilts this way. You got to make sure that the sun's hitting your what is it? Your wrath of God, like in Raiders of the Lost Ark. And come on, man. You're gonna man up. You're going to man up because my Denver Broncos, my quarterback, Bo Nix, went into your house down 14 in the fourth quarter and gave you an L? I mean, do you want you tell me what phone provider you have? I'll hook you up. What do you got? Sprint? T-Mobile? Verizon? Metro PCS? What do you got? I'm just wondering, how come the service is not good? Matty Ice chimes in. Q, how about your boy Mark Sanchez? Wow. That story in itself is crazy. This is why I can't trust anyone that tweets crap that says they're an insider. Right? I can't. Ben chimes in. Q, if you can't tell whose fault this is, you don't know football. I agree with you. AJ Brown gave up on the route. I'm watching this right now. He definitely gave up on the route. He makes the move. If you go back and you watch it, I mean, a little stutter step stagger, then he gets in, he gets position. He gave up on the route. That's on AJ Brown. I'm sorry. The more I think about it, that's on AJ Brown. That's on the wide receiver. That's not on the quarterback. Again, now, you want to sit there and say where the ball should have been thrown? He slowed up, period. And again, I can't sit there and tell you that, you got to keep running out the ball. You also have to bail your quarterback out. And again, if he just runs the route and he's going 100%, that's a touchdown. He clearly stopped running, and Hurts clearly put the ball in the right spot. The more I watch this, that's not on Hurts. That's on A.J. Brown. He didn't run. That's on the wide receiver. So hold him accountable. So when the wide receiver turns around and he wants to friggin' put out Bible verses and he wants to be passive aggressive, that's on you, dude. That's on you. You're a defending Super Bowl champ, and you got guys that are pissed off because they're not getting theirs, and you're 4-1? Come on. Really? Just stop. Having a bunker-only meeting about some mush etiquette. Hey, I mean, what you guys do in the bunker is your business. That stays in a bunker. But I just find it amusing that it's 5:20 and you still, by the way, you still haven't manned up. That's the other thing. You still haven't manned up. You still haven't commented. You were right, Q. Great call. Your Denver Broncos. Great call. Your quarterback, Bo Nix. I mean, you didn't man up. Michael had Denver. Scotty Boy had Denver. Man also said Denver was on upset alert against the Eagles, right? Eagles on upset alert. I basically called it, and yet there's no man up. All it is dilly-dallying. You're just dicking around right now in the bunker. That's all you're doing. You're probably laughing right now. Probably playing a little Wordle. Is that what it is? All right. So you got the Chiefs and Jags tonight. Don't even get me started. 49ers started things off. They got that nice win on the road against the Rams. Vikings, they improved to 3-2. Carson Wentz, that's a good throw. Carson Wentz is not the answer, but that's a good throw late to Addison. The Colts, Daniel Jones playing really good football. Geno Smith stinks. Like, the Raiders really have to think about benching Geno Smith. He has not played well, man. He's got 9 picks. He's been sacked 14. How bad are the Raiders? They're bad. That's a bad football team. You think smiling Pete Carroll's probably thinking to himself, what the hell did I get myself into? Kind of like Belichick, who, oh, by the way, is definitely going to be one and done, which I said a year ago. Giants, 14-3, 5 straight possessions of turnovers. They are 1-4, staring down the barrel, 1-7. Giants are probably going to be 7.5-point dogs. to the Eagles. I don't even know when the Giants are going to be favored again this year. Cowboys putting it on the Jets. The Jets are winless, 0-5. Dolphins 1-4. They lose to the Patriots 27-24. Nice win by the Patriots. Nice win by the Panthers, 2-0 at home. The Ravens are cooked. I will say it right now. They're 1-4. They're done. They can't stop anyone, even if they had Lamar Jackson. The Titans, they get a win. Good stuff from Cam Ward on the road. Cardinals are a horrible team. I had them as a dark horse sleeper to make the playoffs. Not so fast. Buccaneers get a gift late against Seattle, but I think both these teams are going to be very solid playoff teams. I like what Seattle's doing. I think Darnold's a perfect fit there, and Baker is just, Baker just lights it up, man. I mean, he's really come into his own over the last several years. The Lions all over Cincinnati. That score was not really indicative of the contest. Cincinnati came back and scored 21 in the fourth quarter. Jamar Chase is an absolute beast, but they don't have a quarterback. Goff's numbers yesterday. Let me give you Jared Goff on the season. Right now, he is 12 touchdowns, 2 picks. His quarterback rating is 71. I'm sorry, his quarterback rating is 120. His QBR is 71. You got to start talking early on Jared Goff MVP as well. I mean, you got to be fair. You have to be fair. We're talking about Daniel Jones, Dak Prescott, Herbert up until 2 weeks ago. Jared Goff playing really good football. And I know what you guys are thinking. Wait till the game's on the line. Come the postseason. Jared Goff's going to Jared Goff. I gotcha. Washington. Oh, by the way, de facto, Washington got a big win on the road. And I didn't talk too much about that Patriots and Bills game. I didn't see it. I was counting sheep. I was exhausted. It looked like it was a hell of a game. Drake May put up some pretty good numbers, 22 of 30, 273. They really didn't run the ball that well, but I saw Josh Allen kind of had that, Josh Allen kind of night, but he also had the pick. That's a really nice win by New England because that's a young team and you got a young quarterback going in a hostile environment and you're leading them to a win late. And that's when young quarterbacks grow up. I know Diggs went off. What do you have? 9, 10 catches for like $150, 120 coming in the second half. You had a 52-yarder on the road against Buffalo, 20 seconds to go. That's a nice win by the New England Patriots. I don't know where they're going to be in 4 or 5 weeks, but I can tell you this. Have you looked at their schedule? So, and they lost their running back too, by the way. They've got the Saints. That's a winnable game. They've got the Titans. That's a winnable game. They have the Browns. That's a winnable game. They have the Falcons. Those are winnable games by the Patriots. I mean, if they're 7-2 and Indianapolis is a 7-1 team, we're talking about, some of these young teams, right? Some of these young teams, coach of the year, teams that are coming out of nowhere. I'm going to have to go back and check. I don't think Q called it, but said Eagles might have a tough game versus Denver. I mean, I called it outright. Absolutely. I mean, just, oh my God. Really? This is just absurd. I mean, Heisman not even reading the room. What are we doing? Switching topics? It's just, what are we doing? Switching topics? Come on. We got a little Alex Pereira? I did not see that, by the way. I was calling Warriors Thailand at 1 a.m. Thank you very much. So where do some teams go with the trade deadline? 3-4 weeks away. What can you see as a possibility as far as teams, players, and who can turn around or add to their season? Cincinnati should have went and got Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston. I mean, because knowing how everything has fallen into place in the AFC North, they should have went out and got a quarterback. They chose not to. They chose not to. They should have. The Giants are a bad team. I don't think they're going to go and get another wide receiver. Jacoby Myers' name has been flown around. Trade bait with the Raiders. They're not going anywhere. The Giants need to cut Hyatt. He's a waste. You rarely see like NFL, like major deadline trades that are the quarterback market is quiet, which to me is interesting. Now, are you going to see some teams kind of sell off? Sure. Sure you are. The Giants need to trade Russell Wilson. That's a no-brainer. And or Jameis Winston. Jacksonville, I think here's one for you. Here's a name for you. The Ravens are 1-4. Okay. I I, I can see Jacksonville, the 49ers, because they always have injuries. Buffalo, Seattle, you know how he's going to be on the phone, Philadelphia. I think those teams will make calls. They can be aggressive. Eagles are uberly aggressive. Seattle, I think the 49ers, when you start talking about these teams, top half of the league in salary cap space, you got to factor that in. I think Jacksonville, believe it or not, is they're going to. I think they need a little more to their offense. And I'll give you a name, and I know you guys are going to be like, we know that they got a good running back. They can run the football a little bit. I think they need to, and you tell me, like the kid Strange is a nice tight end, right? He's a young tight end, but don't be shocked if Mark Andrews' name is flowing out there, right? Don't be shocked. Don't be shocked if Mark Andrews' name is flowing out there. I think the Ravens are going to dangle him. That's a veteran tight end, right? He's 30. He's in the final year of a contract. It's going to pay him around $11 million. You got a 1-4 team. They got another talented tight end on the roster. He could be moved. Here's another name for you. The Jets. You got Vera Tucker. I mean, they're rebuilding, man. The Jets are going to sell. The Jets are going to sell, and they're going to look at draft compensation. So you look at the Jets. Quarterback situation. Kirk Cousins, no trade. Jameis Winston, Flacco, Russell Wilson. If the Giants didn't trade Russell Wilson once they started Dart and Cincinnati needed a quarterback, then I'm probably more inclined to say these guys are going to stay put. It's just hard to trade for a quarterback midseason in the NFL. It is. Cincinnati had that opportunity. They didn't. I think the Giants are going to sell. I think the Jets are going to sell. Cleveland's going to sell. Saints are going to sell. It's just a question of the Giants. Kevin asked me about Darius Slayton. He's got guaranteed money. He's on the hook for 2 more years, period. But the Saints are definitely going to sell. I can see the Jets. It's getting bad fast, man. Miami, here you go, Miami. So you lose Tyreek Hill. Who's their one? The edge rusher, Phillips. He might be on the block. Miami's got to sell. They got to sell. Also need to man up about Belichick. 0 chance. How do you know he doesn't go back to the NFL? How about when I told you he's one and done in Carolina? How do you know? If a team's willing to take a flyer on Gruden, you don't think someone's taking a flyer on Belichick? Why? Because he's stinking up in college? Which is bad, by the way. Did you see they left in the 3rd quarter? Did you see that? They left in the 3rd quarter. Oh, horrible. Horrible. He needs kisses on the sideline. He needs a hug. P chimes in. Q, thank you for not mentioning it, but I'm going to agree with you. You said it several years ago. Penn State needs to fire James Franklin. They are so bad. When are you guys going to wake up? That quarterback stinks, and Franklin stinks. All I heard was, oh, man, this is their year. Penn State. We are Penn State. Oh, my God. They stink. They're a bad football team, man. They really are. This guy's never won a big game. This guy's never won a big game in his life, a meaningful game. And they wanted to break the bank with this guy. It's like all the years Rutgers and Schiano. Because you had one moment with Rutgers. Sorry, Costco, but you had one moment. I mean, Miami got a nice win. Oklahoma got a nice win. By the way, Arch Manning, not good. He's not good. But yeah, I'm over this whole Franklin and Penn State. You give up 42 friggin' points to UCLA. You give up 42 points to a team that just lost to North friggin' Western. I mean, how does this man still have a job? I can coach better than Franklin. Uh, you have picked against the Eagles every week for the past 20 weeks. You were right like 3 times. What are you talking about? Well, that's just unbelievable. That's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. You're pissed off because you took an L. Now man up. Everyone else has done it today except you, de facto. Everyone has manned up for their transgressions except you. You refuse to say, I will man up, Q. You were right about Denver beating the Eagles. All you're doing is giving juice box. That's it. Since he probably can't afford Wilson or Winston, them and the Raiders should be trying to get a rookie from the Browns, Miami, or Seattle, all have valuable rookie backups making little money. Zach Wilson's a name we mentioned last week behind Tua. But then again, what is Miami going to do with Tua? Right? You don't see major trades, true, but Cowboys have picks to play with. They need defensive help like that. Yeah, but again, maybe the kid Phillips that I mentioned from Miami. Miami is going to sell off. Miami at the trade deadline, they're in shambles, man. They're in and here's a name for you too. The running back, Ashawn. You know, Kansas City's got some issues with their rushing attack. Pacheco's not giving them anything. So here you go. If you're Kansas City, do you pursue that? Or go after, try to get another wide receiver, right? Look, every team has needs. Like no one's disputing that. Buffalo can't stop the run, right? New England, their secondary at times has issues. The Dolphins, this is where the Dolphins are at. They need cap space. Look at that Hill contract. So you've got to get him off the board. You got to get your finances all in order, Miami. You know, the Jets need a linebacker. The Giants can use a linebacker. You know, Pittsburgh can use a little defense, a lot of defensive help. Baltimore, just boom. To your point with Cleveland, this is what you do. The Browns, right now, you've got 10 picks, currently set to have 10 picks in 2026. 2 first rounders, 1 and 4. You finish 2 wins, 3 wins. You're going to be top 5 again, right? Now, you've got the tight end, right? Joku. You've got, what kills you is that the lack of cap space because of Deshaun Watson's contract. But they're building towards the future. I think Jacksonville, tight end, and edge help. Because Walker's still banged up with that wrist injury. I'm talking about the teams that are in technically contention, like the Chargers, you know, Kansas City, you need another running back, you know, another weapon, defensive line help, Denver, linebacker help. I'm talking the Eagles, their secondary is suspect. They're suspect. So is Washington's. Dallas definitely needs a pass rush, no doubt. But I'm not going to say the Cowboys are right there. Like Miami, the Jets, Cleveland, the Giants. The Giants need cap space. That's what they need, cap space. They need cap space because you got the dead money from Daniel Jones' contract. It's still there. They're dead last in cap space in 2025. So they're not going to have a ton to roll over next year. They're not. Detroit. You know, you go defensive, you're Detroit. You go secondary. Green Bay, you know, run stopper. I'm trying to think who else. Contention. Atlanta, nah. Carolina, no. Tampa, I mean, probably want to protect Baker Mayfield a little more. 49ers need a pass rush. They need edge. They do. They need edge. Seattle's got to fix the line. And Arizona and the Rams probably got to go defense. But you're not going to see, those are probably going to be put a Band-Aid over the cut kind of move. Are we going to see a move at the trade deadline that really turns the tide of a team? Like where we sit there and say that, oh my God, like man, they're all in. Do we see that a lot in football? That's my question, right? Do we see that a lot? This is not the Colts trading for Falk. This is not Cowboys trading Walker to the Vikings in '89 or Rams trading for Dickerson. Like the Micah Parsons, that was kind of like the boomer bust. We're talking about with the trade deadline right around the corner. Yeah, you want to shore up some things. I think some of those teams that I mentioned, even early on, that have cap space, I think they will make moves. I really do. But I also think there are some teams that they look around and they say, we don't want this guy. We don't have a need. We don't want to make this move. Cincinnati needed to trade for a quarterback, knowing how everything's breaking. The Giants, if I'm the Giants, here's an idea. Now bear with me. The Giants need another wide receiver, not for just this year, but going forward, because you don't know about Neighbors' is recovery time. And Wandale Robinson is a nice receiver, but he's a slot receiver. If you're the Giants, why don't you call up Green Bay? I'll give you Russell Wilson. I'll give you a 6th-round draft pick. Give me Romeo Dobbs. You got Wilson backup to Jordan Love. And the Giants basically get a wide receiver, right? Evan Neal, that's a name that's going. That's a name. I'm seeing reports that Miami, look, they're looking to get Jacoby Myers. The Raiders are going to sell. The Raiders are going to get rid of players because just bad, 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 bad. Raiders should absolutely trade Miles and Denzel and add to the picks they have. They're going to have a ton of picks. A ton. 49ers, do need an edge rusher. That would be a good move. I think so. Here it is. It's only friggin' 5:37. Congrats to the corporate Broncos. Good luck in London next week. Don't have an emotional letdown against the Jets. But see, that's still not a manning up. You need to say, Q, I'm manning up. I need, when you're like with the missus and they say, I need to hear the words. I need to hear the words right now, de facto. I need to see him. I need to hear him. I need to see him. And I need to hear him. And you can't give me that, then there's no reason for this to continue. Seriously, I need the words. I need the words. And if you can't give me that, you're not manning up. That's a fact. You're not manning up. Q, what's the last trade in the NFL you remember that changed the team's season and had success? Christian McCaffrey, right? How many games was that? That was what? A handful of games in this season when he got moved? I mean, quarterbacks, we've seen it. Let me see. Rams and Ramsey. Right? Von Miller. There you go. Von Miller. But what they give up? What did the Panthers get? They got a. Did they get any first round picks, or were they all like second and third? Right. And look, the reason they did that, you're watching the Rams at the time make all these moves. But Miller, trade for Miller from the Broncos, they gave up a second round pick and a third round pick, and that was a defensive piece to their Super Bowl team that they beat Cincinnati that year. You got some defensive players. You're talking in season. If you go back, like way back, Seattle traded for Marshawn Lynch back in 2010. That was mid-season. And obviously the Beast, right? One of the original Beast. That was a mid-season move. Because if you remember, he lost his starting spot to Buffalo. And he he wasn't great coming out of the gate for Seattle, but go back to the postseason, get off of me run against New Orleans, the Beastquake mode, and then obviously winning it a couple years later in 2013. That was a big time move. Herschel Walker, no, because that move, Herschel Walker and 4 draft picks. So the Cowboys got a couple linebackers, they got a cornerback, they got 8 draft picks. That changed the course of the franchise, and that was in the middle of '89. So that basically, the Vikings thought at that time trading for Herschel Walker was going to be that piece that they can build around. And it flipped, right? Because the Vikings never really contended. Now in '87, they beat the 49ers. That was a strike shortened season. Anthony Carter went off for 200 yards in that playoff game. They crushed the 49ers. Then they lost in the NFC Championship to Washington. '88, different story. '89, Walker's a little more long in the tooth, so to speak. Um, but that helped catapult the Dallas Cowboys to drafting, Hall of Famers, right? The triplets and Aikman or at least helping, I should say, right? They made so many moves. They brought in Emmett Smith, Russell Maryland, Darren Woodson, if you remember, and that kind of jettisoned, obviously Aikman already on that squad, but that kind of jettisoned them to the 3 Super Bowls. So that was a big time move. I don't know. We might look at Micah Parsons and say, here we go, right? We might, if Green Bay makes a deep run, if you really, really want to go back, like the first I remember, if you go back really, really deep into, last 30, 40 years, I remember Mike Haynes, who was a unbelievable cornerback. The Raiders got him from the Patriots in '83. And then, of course, the Raiders went on. It was a great, great, great pickup because they absolutely squashed Washington, then Redskins. They beat them 38-9 in the Super Bowl. I mean, Riggins couldn't get off. Theismann had a horrible Super Bowl. I think Mike Haynes had a pick in that game. So that move at the time is like, whoa, that totally changed the complexion for one of those teams, and they won a Super Bowl. But Herschel Walker definitely. Yeah, CMC. Yeah, absolutely. That was something. That's good when I remember the McCaffrey was like that. Yeah. Yep. He's a great player. He just can't stay healthy. He just can't stay healthy. I mean, if if you look at his numbers on the surface, right? We talk about all these running backs. I think they made a note the other day. I was listening to XM and they talked about Roger Craig's numbers. Then they mentioned Tiki Barber's numbers when we're talking about all-purpose yards. And you look at a guy like CMC, you look at a player like Christian McCaffrey. I mean, he's what, 28, 29. He's got close to 7,000 rushing yards, and he's got close to 5,000 receiving yards. But think about the time that he's missed. I just pulled up his numbers. So he missed 13 games in 2020. He missed 9 games, so that's 22 in 2021. He missed, he played. Last year, he missed 13. So now you're talking 30 something odd games missed in his career. So let's just, for argument's sake, say he averages a buck 10 every game. Like if you break down his averages, total yards from scrimmage, now you're talking another 3,000 yards. So now we're looking at a player that has already 13,000 yards from scrimmage, like on his way to being a Hall of Fame player, right? All right, 5:45, quick timeout. We'll come back. We'll wrap it up. We'll give you a play for tonight as well. Keep it locked in. All right, we'll give you the play for tonight before. Let me pull that over here. First time doing radio. We'll give you the play for tonight before we get out of here. Kansas City laying 3.5 tonight. Total is 48. Actually, pardon me. Total is 45. Did you see all these totals are hitting in the NFL? I mean, Thursday night hit, Raiders hit, Giants hit, Cowboys hit, Panthers hit, Texans hit, Buccaneers hit, Detroit hit, Patriots hit. Patriots was 45, I think, and the total was 43. A lot of totals. I think we're going to get a high-scoring game tonight. I said the Chiefs are semi-cooked, but I don't want to try to ingratiate myself with Vince and Jacksonville. So, do I have a play in this game? What's a good play tonight? What's a good play or prop tonight in this game? I just don't like the game. Like I don't feel, any way either side. Let me give you a player prop. I think it'll be high scoring. How about this? How about Worthy first TD score? You know what? Is this the night? Is this the night we get a Travis Hunter touchdown? Ooh, Vince. No. Death Star mic is fine. What you hear in the background, you hear that? Digging for gold. That's what she's doing right now. No, I pulled the Death Star mic away, so that was my fault. Kiki, stop that. No. Don't start this semi stuff. You came on the air and lost your mind saying Casey has cooked it 1 and 2. Kiki, knock it off. Half cooked. They're 2 and 2 right now, and they had a very impressive win. You know what? Just for that, I'm going to go Jacksonville at home tonight because I want to spite you. Jacksonville at home tonight. And you know what? Why not throw something on Travis Hunter? Anytime touchdown, Xavier Worthy, first touchdown score. Baseball, I did not forget. We have a little baseball this evening as well. This is a big spot for the Phillies right now. Luzardo's on the hill against Snell. That is a 6:05 first pitch, so we're getting out of here to get that going. You got the Cubbies and the Brewers. Phillies minus 105 on the money line. I do like the Dodgers tonight. I do like the Dodgers because I'm looking at, again, playoff experience. Luzardo doesn't have any. Snell does. I'm leaning towards the Dodgers tonight. That was a brutal loss by the Phillies. You're knocking around Ohtani. You're up 3-0. And then boom, Dodgers rip off 5. That's a tough loss. Phillies back in that little sandbox of a ballpark tonight. But I'm going to go with the Dodgers because I'm going to continue my spite obsession. How's that Ratatouille? Not even remotely close. You betting on Hunter? What? I don't understand what I did. Wait, what did I do? I'm giving you a play. Oh, wait a second. Now, because you're basically saying it's a mush. Now you're walking it back. You spite pick. I think I'm putting a mortgage payment on the Chiefs. I don't understand. I'm giving you my thought. I said the Chiefs were cooked. 2-1. They had a big win. They're 2-2. I don't think they can run the ball. I think ETN has a solid night, and Trevor Lawrence slings a little bit. You can throw against Kansas City. I'm giving you all the reasons that I like Jacksonville tonight. I don't know why you guys are upset. They're 3-1, man. They can be the top dog in the AFC South. How do you not like the Jags tonight in Duval? Are you kidding? Let's go. Let's roll with them. ETN, anytime touchdown. Worthy, first touchdown scorer. Hunter, touchdown tonight for Jacksonville. You'll thank me tomorrow. How about that? Oh, my goodness. Joey B, what the hell? 550? Guys jumping on the show. We've been on the friggin' air for 2 hours. Just got home about an hour ago from Philly. Great weekend in AC. Oh, Joey B was in AC in Philly. The Westin in Philly was popping last night after the game with Broncos fans. Oh, were you hanging out in Tennessee Avenue, Joey B? Wow. My goodness. Stopping any dispensaries? Thank you, Philly fans. You all get a bad rap, but lots of free beer and food at tailgates was the narrative. Smack talk, yes, but all in great fun. Joey B, what's up? Because they had a huge win last week. Who are we talking about? Who had a huge win last week? Who did? Eagles? Is that why? What are we talking about? Yes, it's all about the narrative and pushing it when these teams have wins. Jacksonville tonight. Go ahead. Kids education, mortgage, whatever you want to call it. My goodness. How bad is that going to be tomorrow if friggin' Jacksonville gets waxed? Oh, I'm never going to hear the end of it. You know what? I'm going out on a limb. I might mortal lock Jacksonville at home tonight. How about that? Jacksonville covering the nut. You know I don't like 3.5, man. You know I like the half, the 0.5s, as we like to say. Jacksonville laying the number tonight on the money line. I'm even going to give you the score. Bookmark it right now. Duval 27, Kansas City 23. There you go. 27-23. You want me to comment to you guys so you guys can see it? Hold on. I'll comment in the box so you can timestamp it. This is a rarity, but here we go. 27-23. Hold on. I'm hashtagging it just the way Vince likes it. Duval. Boom. Right there. You guys have it. Should we pop it up on the big screen? Why not? Let's do it. I say 27-23. All right. You got the Phils. You got baseball tonight as well. You got the double dip tonight in baseball. You got the Phillies and the Dodgers, the Cubbies and the Brewers. Tomorrow, mañana, Mariners and the Tigers. My Yankees are in trouble against the Blue Jays. They are down 2-0 in that series. Monday Night Football. I gave you thoughts on every game. Lloyd Vance tomorrow, Vance's view on a Tuesday. I promise you, if we lose this game, I am never listening to this show again. That's really, is that a threat or a promise? That's not right. That's really not right. That's not fair. That's really not fair. All I'm doing is but see, no one wants to talk about how I gave Denver on the money line, how I gave the over on Tampa Bay and Seattle. Nobody wants to talk about that. How I told you that the Patriots were going to give the Bills a fight. Nobody wants to talk about that. You guys want to pinpoint the 2 or 3 where I had misses. I like Jacksonville tonight. I don't know what you want me to say. I can't go with Jacksonville at home. I gave you all the reasoning. I think they're going to have an opportunity to throw the ball, run the ball a little bit. Kansas City's run game still hasn't really hit. They're void of some weapons. I think they're going to get the Patrick Mahomes 27-23. You'll thank me tomorrow. That's fine. You want me to leave a friggin' mint under the pillow for you? All right, got to start wrapping up tomorrow. Lloyd's going to join us on a Tuesday. Vance's View, Lloyd Vance, host of Lloyd Vance's Insider Football 102.9. 2 more comments before we get out of here. Matty Ice chimes in again from Wilmington. Q, I wouldn't say that's a bad loss by the Eagles, but you are right. Something amiss with the offense. Joe D, Q, I still can't believe they only gave Saquon 6 touches. Kevin C. and Jackson. Q, do you think by the end of next week when the Giants lose 35-6, Daboll gets fired? No. They're not going to fire him midseason. They're not. They're not going to do it. And like I said, if Jackson Dart shows that he can play a little bit, and Brian Daboll grooms him and teaches him the position, the quarterback position, and the kid plays it at a good level, and they think they have a franchise quarterback, you actually. I don't agree with it, but Daboll makes a case to stay. I don't agree with it. I think he should be gone. I think they should have fired him last season, him and Joe Shane. But as we talked about, you keep doing that, you're recycling coaches over and over. All right, got to get out of here. Special thanks to my good friends, Fresh Roasted Coffee, Get Ready with Tea, Jersey Shore Breaks, and of course, 3 Brooks Bourbon. You guys have a wonderful Sports Monday. Enjoy that NFL matchup tonight, Monday Night Football. Oh my goodness. How can you not be a Jacksonville fan tonight? Laying 3.5, 27-23, Jacksonville over Kansas City. We'll do it again tomorrow. As always, be safe, be sound. Thanks for tuning into this edition of On Cue. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Back your play up on Wednesday. And of course, Tropical Pets Auto on Channel 82 in Bermuda. We want to say hello to the good folks keeping us locked in. Oh, here we go. I like Jacksonville in this game until 5 minutes ago. Hey, I'm just happy your phone reception is just not a muck. That's a tough L for the Bunker Boys. 2 tough L's over the weekend. The Sillies and the Eagles. Oh, man, if the Phillies lose tonight, oh, mama, we might have to come on early again tomorrow. All right, you guys have a good Sports Monday. Be safe, be sound. We will be back in the saddle mañana. As always, I'm Rich Quinones. Hasta luego, con Dios.